Here's a quick overview on the National Merit Scholarship Program. All of the following info is summarized from the official NMSC guides, which is the corporation behind National Merit. So if you'd rather read that instead of listening to me yap, I will have those linked in the description below. First up, what is the National Merit Scholarship Program? Well, it's basically just a really big competition based off of your psat scores to get scholarships. Now the psat is also sometimes referred to as the NMSQT. It means National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. Anyways, psat is also what it's more commonly referred to as. Alright, this is post-recording Min, and I low-key realized I went a really big tangent and I just started yapping. So if you want a short tldr, you can go to this timestamp I'm showing on the screen right now, or the one at the very end of the video. Now let's get started on the steps on how to compete in this program or this competition. First up, you have to take the psat. So this October, there will be roughly 1.3 million entrants or people competing in this program. In order to compete in this program, you need to of course take the psat, and you also need to meet other requirements. Those requirements include being in high school currently, graduating high school in 2027, and also starting college in the fall of 2027. You also need to live in the United States, and you also need to take the psat in a certain year. Normally, you'll take the psat in your third year of high school, so that would be your junior year, which for most of us, that's this year. Now some of us did take the psat in our freshman year since we're in college academy, and everyone had to take the psat in our sophomore year. However, neither of those scores matter because they don't enter you in the competition. The competition only looks at your junior year psat score, so if you want to get a scholarship, you need to retake it again this year. Now there is a small exception to when you take the psat, and that's if you decide to graduate early or if you ended up having to repeat a year and have to take 5 years of high school, but that's probably not the most of us, so I'm gonna just go ahead and skip over that. I also forgot to mention this, but all of these following dates will only apply to the class of 2027. So the requirement of graduating in 2027, obviously that only applies to us. Going to college in 2027, that only applies to us. Taking the psat this October, that also only applies to us. Now if you're not the class of 2027, you can just swap all the dates with your junior year of high school. So for example, if you were class of 2028, you would be taking the psat in October 2026, which is next year. Alright, that was a whole bunch of yap, but long story short, if you're currently a junior, you need to take the psat this October. Alright, so they estimate there's going to be roughly 1.3 million entrants, so 1.3 million people taking the psat, and of those 1.3 million entrants, there will be 50,000 high scorers. So for the class of 2027, in the April of 2026, or this upcoming spring, the list of top scoring students will be sent to principals for confirmation. And then the principal will confirm that yeah, that person's pretty smart, yeah, they're currently a junior, and yeah, they will graduate high school next year. Now once all of that is confirmed, these 50,000 high scorers will be able to move on to the next stage, which is participants who qualify for National Merit Program recognition. So once you make it to the top 50,000 high scorers, you will be recognized for some sort of award. However, your scholarship isn't guaranteed just yet. I also want to quickly point out that if you're not the class of 2027, that will just be the upcoming spring after you take the psat. So once again, using class of 2028, it will be the April of 2027. Before we move on to the different type of recognitions these people can get, I want to explain how they're chosen, because it's not just based off who has the highest psat score. Instead, it's based on who has the highest selection index score. Now your selection index score is 2 times your reading and writing score plus your math score divided by 10. So you notice your reading and writing score is way 2 times as heavy as your math score. So basically, let's say 2 people got a 1400. One person got an 800 on the reading and a 600 on the math, and the other person got a 600 on the reading and an 800 on the math. They both got the exact same psat score, which was 1400, but the person that got an 800 on the reading and writing would have a higher selection index score because it's weight heavier here. I mean, you can tell, but it's being multiplied by 2. So for an example, this was my psat score last year in 10th grade. I got a 1460, and I got a 720 on reading and writing and a 740 on math. And you notice at the bottom, it says I have a 218 selection index score. Now when you click that See NMSC Details button at the bottom, it'll pop up this screen and it'll show you how it's calculated. 2 times my reading and writing score, which was 720, plus my math score, which was 740 divided by 10, which got me 218. So the top 50,000 people with the highest selection index score, not their PSAT score, would be the ones that would be chosen for recognition. Now I'm not sure if it actually gives you your selection index score on a PSAT practice test because I've never taken one, but if you did want to calculate it, you don't actually need to do it by hand. I will link a calculator that you can use in the description. Alright, now the participants who qualify for National Merit Program recognition are broken into 2 different groups. The first group is the group of commended students, and there's going to be 34,000 of them. To be commended, your PSAT score needs to be in the top 4% of all PSAT takers. Now for the class of 2025, the cutoff score or the selection index score you needed was a 208. For the class of 2026, it was a 210. So you can expect that for the class of 2027, it's gonna be around 210. Now in the late September of 2026 or in the September of your senior year of high school, you'll get notified if you become commended. And if you're commended, you'll get a letter of commendation. So basically you get a cool participation award. I mean, I guess it's not really participation because you did get a top 4% PSAT score, so you could guess that's around a 1400. But at the same time, you're not guaranteed any scholarships or money unless you're a Nepo baby, which I'll get into later, but I mean, at least it's something. Anyways, the second group is the group of semifinalists, and there's gonna be 16,000 of them. To become a semifinalist, you need to be in the top 1% of all PSAT takers in your state. Now for the state of Texas, since 2023, so for the past 4 years, the cutoff score has been a selection index score of at least 219. So you can expect for the class of 2027, it's gonna be around that range, and it might even be more. Now in early September of 2026 or in early September of your senior year, you'll get notified if you become a semifinalist, and you'll be able to submit an application to become a finalist. Now I'll go into detail on how you apply to become a finalist in the next slide, but of the 16,000 semifinalists, 15,000 of them will move on to become finalists. That means that about 95% of all semifinalists will become a finalist. So in February of 2027 or February of your senior year, you'll receive a certificate of merit, so another participation award. But the important part is that you'll be considered for national merit scholarships. Now once you're a semi-finalist, there are a few requirements before you can qualify as a finalist. The first one is that you need to be endorsed and recommended to become a finalist by the principal, so you better get on good terms with Miss Wiley. The second one is that you need to have a consistent record of very high academic performance. So basically, give them your high school and college transcripts and show that you're not just a person that can take tests. You can also perform well in a classroom setting. The third one is that you need to submit an application, which will also include writing an essay. And lastly, you need to take the SAT or ACT and earn scores that confirm your PSAT performance. So basically, prove that you didn't luck out once on the PSAT and show that if you took another standardized test, the SAT or the ACT, you would still perform really well. Now outside of this, there are a few more basic requirements, like you still need to be in your senior year of high school and you need to be able to graduate. You also need to be going to college after you graduate. You also need to still be living in the United States. And of course, you need to give them any additional information that they ask for. And finally, you have the scholarship winners. Now there's actually going to be 2 different groups of winners. The first group is going to be the group of special scholarship winners. Now this group is going to be for the commended or semi-finalist students that didn't advance to become a finalist. So in March of 2027 or in the spring of your senior year, these candidates that aren't finalists may be able to receive a special scholarship from corporate sponsors. So basically, long story short, if your parent works at a company, then there's a pretty high chance that if that company donated to the PSAT, then you'll get a scholarship from them. And then of course, the second group of scholarship winners is from the finalists. So you have the merit scholarship winners. So also in March of 2027, the spring of your senior year, finalists will be able to receive one of 3 scholarships. The first one is the National Merit $2,500 scholarships. The second one is the corporate sponsored scholarships. And the third one is the college-sponsored scholarships. Now I didn't mention a number before, but there will be 660 special scholarship winners. So of the 34,000 commended students and the 1,000 semi-finalists that didn't become finalists, 660 of them might be able to receive a special scholarship. And then, of the 15,000 finalists, about half of them, 6,930, will receive a merit scholarship. Now let me give some more info on what these scholarships are and how you can get them. So first up, you have the two corporate-sponsored scholarships, the special scholarships and the merit scholarships. Now to get the special scholarship, you need to be a commended or a semi-finalist. You cannot be a finalist. And conversely, to get the merit scholarship, you must be a finalist. You cannot be a commended or a semi-finalist. However, for the both of them, since they're corporate sponsored, you need to meet the sponsor's criteria. Now once again, most of the time that means your parent works at that company, or your career goals or major align with that company. Then you have the National Merit $2,500 scholarships. Now in order to get this scholarship, you need to be a finalist, but you also need to be all the other finalists in your state. Only 2,500 of these scholarships will be given out, so of the 6,930 people that get scholarships, only 2,500 of them will get this specific scholarship. Now in order to be chosen for this scholarship, they're going to be looking at your application really hard. Like they're going to be looking at the classes you took, your essay, your extracurriculars, and your principal's recommendation. So it's basically like applying to college. Now don't worry if you're not one of the 2,500 people that get this scholarship, because I mean come on, it's only $2,500. The real cream of the crop is the last scholarship, which is the college-sponsored merit scholarships. Now in order to get this scholarship, you of course need to be a finalist, but you also need to select and attend a first choice college. So when you fill out the application to become a finalist, they give you a list of colleges that are affiliated with National Merit, so colleges that accept National Merit scholarships, and they ask you to pick one as your first choice. Now if you become a finalist and you attend that first choice college, that college may give you a special type of scholarship, and this can vary from college to college. So let me quickly show you. So here I am on UH's website, and you'll see that the scholarship they give for National Merit finalists includes full tuition, so they pay all of your tuition and all of your fees, so any fees that you need for labs or for books, they'll pay for that. Any fees for classes you take, they'll pay for that. They'll also give you $1,000 to do research, and they'll also give you $2,000 to study abroad. And all you have to do is become a finalist and choose UH as your first choice college. You don't need to compete with other finalists. You don't need to write an amazing essay that will stand out from all of the other finalists. You don't need to have crazy extracurriculars. All you need to do is get a high enough score to become a semi-finalist, and then become one of the 95% that advance to finalists, and choose UH as your first school, and then boom, full tuition scholarship right there. And more than that, they also give any other scholarship awarded by National Merit. So for example, that $2,500 scholarship, as well as any corporate scholarship. So it's not just the college-sponsored scholarship that you'd be getting. You could also potentially get the corporate-sponsored and the National Merit one. And the thing is, sometimes National Merit doesn't let you stack them. Sometimes you can actually only choose one scholarship. But here at UH, they allow you to take all three. So go to UH guys, I am the biggest UH glazer. Even though it's in the ghetto, like, it might be worth it. So this isn't related to the PSAT, but since we're on the topic of UH, I really wanted to talk about this. So low-key you could skip ahead, but I feel like this could definitely convince you. Anyways, Tier 1 is the full ride scholarship at UH. It gives you all tuition and fees paid. It gives you $1,000 for research, and it also gives you $2,000 for learning abroad. Wait a minute, doesn't that low-key sound like National Merit? Now there is two big differences, and it's that if you're a Tier 1 scholar, you get housing, and you also get a meal plan for the first 2 years at UH. But let's be for real, we all live in Houston, so we could low-key just commute there every day, so we don't need housing, and if you can suck it up, you could low-key just live with your parents and leech off of them for food. So you don't need that meal plan either. Now once again, the Tier 1 scholarship, the scholarship in which 40 out of 700 people that applied got in, that's a 5.7 acceptance rate. Wait, 6.7? Anyways, but for real though, 5.7 acceptance rate where almost every single person that applied had a 1450 or higher on the SAT. Like, do you understand how competitive that is? and at the same time it gives basically the exact same benefits as national merit. But which one's easier to get? I mean, once again, almost every single applicant for Tier 1 had a 1450 SAT. If you took that SAT score and put it on your PSAT, you'd unironically almost have enough to be a semifinalist. And then once you're a semifinalist, you have a 95% chance of becoming a finalist and then getting national merit. So what I'm trying to say is it's so easy to get national merit and get a full ride scholarship compared to doing something like this where you actually have to write like 2 essays, have a really high SAT score, have really good ECs, and all that stuff. Anyways, I'm sure this is true for many other colleges as well. Now I personally want to go to UH, so I did a lot of research on UH and I know UH scholarships. But if you do research on your college that you want to go to, I'm sure you'd find out that national merit probably gives a lot of really good benefits too. So here I am on Texas A&M's website, and you'll see that they actually give multiple scholarships for national merit. If you're a semifinalist, you actually get $12,000 plus $1,000 to study abroad. So look at that. If you're a semifinalist, you still get a scholarship. Now, if you're a finalist, you get $12,000 plus $28,000 plus $2,000. So that's what? $42,000 in total for all 4 years of college. And then you also get $1,000 to study abroad. Now, unfortunately, this isn't like UH where you get full tuition. But at the same time, A&M is obviously way more prestigious than UH, so you can't really expect them to be handing out money like that. However, that is still $42,000 in your pocket, and all you gotta do is become a finalist and choose Texas A&M as your first choice college. Now here's the thing, A&M is also quite generous. You're not only limited to these national merit scholarships, you can also get other scholarships that add on to national merit. So it's definitely possible that you could get enough money to pay your entire way through college. And finally, here I am on UT Dallas's, MIT of the South by the way, website, and you'll see that the scholarship they give for national merit finalists include full tuition for 4 years, they give you dorms too for your first year, they give you a meal plan, money for books and supplies, a generous study abroad stipend, so I guess they give you some money to study abroad. They also give you money to do summer research, and you also get whatever this extra stuff is. Honors program. Oh wow, free printing. I'd hope that I get free printing after I go to college. And then some other yap like honors lounge and social events. So UT Dallas, MIT of the South by the way, is actually the most generous out of all the other schools I've covered. They give the full ride from national merit alone. Now comparing it to UH did not give dorms or meal plans. But UT Dallas does give dorms and meal plans, so low-key guys, it might be time to head on down to the MIT of the South. That's the 3rd time I said it, but it might just be worth it. I personally think it's really easy to get national merit. And then you can get all of these benefits without even needing to write a good essay or to actually have a life and do extracurriculars. All you need to do is know like the PSAT and get a good score. Alright, that's gonna be all of the colleges that I covered for now. But I will link this in the description, and it's a PDF with all of the corporations and all of the colleges that sponsor national merit. So if by chance your parent works at ADP Foundation, there's a chance you can get one of the 40 awards. That's pretty tough. And then if you scroll down here to page 54, you'll see the list of all the colleges and universities. So what I do is just search up the university followed by national merit. So let's choose some random university. Let's do Tufts University. So all you gotta do, type in Tufts University, followed by national merit. And then you can click on this link here, I guess, the first thing that pops up. Let's see what they give for national merit. What is all this yap? I cannot see it. Hello? Control F, just type in national merit. Alright, let's see. What the hell? $500 per semester? Why are they so stingy? What is this? Nuh-uh, cause you just saw all of those Texas colleges giving you full rides and thousands of dollars, and then you got Tufts University giving you $500 per semester. I mean, I think Tufts is a good college. I honestly have no idea. I really don't care about anything outside of Texas. But, hey look, money is money. Now one notable thing I want to point out is that I know a lot of people probably want to go to UT Austin because of auto admit, but I do want to point out that UT Austin actually does not have national merit anymore. So you can't get a national merit scholarship from UT Austin. Anyways, here's the TLDR if you're skipping to here from the beginning, or the recap if you watch the entire thing through, which I highly doubt anyone did. So, National Merit Scholarship Program. First step, you need to take the PSAT. Now, you need to take the PSAT in your junior year. So that means if you're class of 2027, you need to take the October PSAT. So that's on October 1st. And the sign up closes on September 12th. So that's next week. Make sure you sign up. Alright, so take the PSAT, some yap about high scores. You don't need to worry about that. A good rule of thumb is that as long as you get a 1470 or higher on the PSAT, you're most likely gonna get it. Alright, you're most likely gonna become a semifinalist with a 1470 on the PSAT. Alright, after you become a semifinalist, you need to become one of the 15,000 finalists. Guys, this is not hard. You have a 95% chance of becoming a finalist. And all you need to do is get recommended by the principal, submit your grades, do the application, which includes writing an essay, and take the SAT and get a good SAT score. Once you meet those requirements, boom, you're a finalist. Alright, now that you're a finalist, there's these different types of scholarships that you can get. But let's be so for real. Most likely your parent doesn't work at some company, and you're probably not going to be one of the people that get the $2,500 scholarship. Because only 2,500 people are going to get it. And you know, it's probably going to be the people that cure cancer and stuff. So instead, what you're shooting for is a college-sponsored merit scholarship. All you got to do is be a finalist, and then choose a college as your first choice, and then go to that college. And boom, you get a national merit scholarship from them. Now some colleges are super generous, like UT Dallas gives you a full ride, which includes tuition, room and board, meals, a stipend for studying abroad, and a stipend for summer research. Now some schools are a little more stingy, like Tufts. They give you $500 a semester, but at the same time, I just searched it up, and apparently Tufts is like top 30 school. But at the same time, like if they're top 30, couldn't they give more money? Nah, but for real though, it really goes to show that national merit is not hard to get. All you need to do is get a 1470 on the PSAT, finish the application, and then choose some college as your first choice, and then you just got that scholarship. Now that's the reason why some more prestigious schools don't actually give scholarships for national merit, like UT Austin, because they already got plenty of smart people. They don't care about people that get a 1470 on the PSAT. Compare getting a 1470 on the PSAT to getting like a 1500 on the actual SAT. The SAT is going to be way harder than the PSAT. Anyways, hopefully I convinced you to take the PSAT. The thing is, you can actually only take it once. It only counts once, which is during your junior year, and you can also only take it once per year. So you only have one shot to get a 1470. So if you get it, then great, you get that scholarship. And if you don't, no worries, no one needs to know. It will never show up on your applications, so it can just be a thing of the past. Plus, it's not like all that studying went to waste. Technically, you prepared for the SAT too. Alright, well, you can use all of the SAT videos I posted to study for the PSAT, because they're all over the same thing. And if you get national merit, make sure to donate me $5, because you just got a full ride, and I would like a part of that. Thank you very much.